What's good, family? It's Swift here, Wellness Warrior. And this message is for anybody struggling with addiction. And I'm glad to say that I am 10 days sober. And throughout my life, I struggled with a lot of different addictions. Not a lot, but a handful. Um, I smoked weed a lot, daily, for years. I drank regularly, you know, for every other day, every day, And recently I got into nicotine, anything from vaping to the little pouches, even smoked a cigarette occasionally, but more so with the vaping and the pouches. Um, and yeah, man, I would say that the moment I decided that I wanted to do something different in my life, and pursue a life of sobriety, the amount of clarity and the way that the guidance that I got from my intuition, my relationship with God got better, and just my clarity on my purpose and my goals became more easy to identify. And I've been waking up every day early and working out, doing a variation of meditating, praying, daily devotional, and journaling. So like just doing those handful of different things have really, man, just made me feel more alive. Like for a long time, I felt like I was just flat, right? Just flatlining. And as you can imagine, when you're an entrepreneur, you're in business, and you're in a position of leadership, management, sales, influence, persuasion, it is so hard to persuade and to lead and to sell somebody on your ideas and your vision if you're flatlining. So the biggest thing I learned was if you believe in anything, it's your tonality, right? Because communication, small percentage of that is verbal, right? Your body language plays a big part in communication. Your eye contact plays a big part in communication. Your energy, your vibration, the things you can't see play a big part in communication. And the other part is tonality, how you use your inflection of your voice. And for a long time, I just spoke very monotoned. And the other part of it was I didn't like being in the camera. But I'm stepping out of my comfort zone because more and more I realize in business it's so important to have an online identity, right? But I know I'm kind of veering off of what I'm talking about addiction because that was the precipice of the message. However, I also just want to share how being able to relieve myself of those vices allowed me to reach new levels, have clarity, and just to attract better opportunities into my life. If you believe in manifestation and you believe in the law of attraction and vibration and frequency, whether or not you believe it or not, those things are very true. They play a big role in your ability to attract situations and to manifesting good health or bad health. Your belief system alone is a huge driving factor, almost to the case of what you believe will be true. I'm sure we all heard of the placebo effect, right? And so being able to, one of the things that I want to leave some value here is how I was able to basically rid myself of some of these addictions. But I do want to talk about the problems with some of these addictions. Number one, which a lot of people will not just come out and say because they're ashamed and they're embarrassed, but like I said, I will put my ego aside so that way someone listening to this can can get some value from it. Um, and so I just put it out there. When I was younger, I was introduced to sex at a very young age, like 3, 4 years old. A babysitter, a female babysitter, had basically coerced me to do foreplay on her, right? To go down on her, to like, yeah, man. So that made me very sexually active, and I was introduced to pornography at a very young age, and masturbation at a very young age, and so I I would I would participate in pornography and masturbation very regularly from a very early age. And at first, I just thought it was something innocent, something that I'm trying to feel something good. I'm trying to whatever. I mean, all the reasons why people masturbate until it became a vice, right? As I got older, more mature, like in my well, the thing is, with high school, I didn't really have that problem because I played sports, so I was really distracted. I was in the weight room, I was competing, so I didn't really. But when I got when I got into like my young adulthood, dealing with stress and having a sales job, knocking on doors, just and then of course the compounding effect of alcoholism and weed. When you're bored, like I just so. I would say in high school it didn't really affect me too much because I was busy. Um, but in middle school, yeah, I definitely was watching the soft porn on HBO or whatever, and then finding my uncle or my stepdad's porno mags and stuff like that. Um, but I could tell you how that vice affected me as a young adult. Like I'm telling you, like I would pull like in between knocking doors and following up with leads. I literally pull over, find somewhere secluded in the library parking lot or something, and pull out my phone and just go to work on myself, right? And then of course make a mess and find napkins and try and clean it. It's just disgusting. And then I would masturbate like 3, 4, 5 times in a day. Um, like it was bad. And then and this continued on for a while, even when I had girlfriends. Um, and so it really made it hard for me to communicate with people and look people in the eyes, like, because I was actually quite ashamed of what I've done. Even though people didn't know, I just didn't have the confidence to look anyone in the eye because I was just ashamed of myself. And of course, like, as you probably know, like the content gets more and more intense, right? You can't get a nut off to regular porn no more. You gotta be watching some BDSM, some hardcore shit, and it just escalates from there, right? So, and it really changed my relationship with women and how I looked at sex. And I can tell you, the way that I got rid of that vice was by, well, making a decision at the end of the day, because I didn't want to continue to be embarrassed of myself. I didn't want to continue to be ashamed of myself. I wanted to be successful. I made that decision very early in my life that, hey, I want to be successful and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. But of course I had to realize I had to work on myself, because I grew up with very little guidance. Then my mother wasn't very present. My dad wasn't there. Like, it was tough. I learned things the hard way. And if you're young and listening to this, I want you to learn from my mistakes. I want you to do the best you can to rid yourself of these vices, especially if you know inside of yourself that you're meant for more, that you're meant to be successful, right? I felt this feeling for a long time. Like I knew I was supposed to be somebody. I knew I was supposed to do great things and be wealthy and have a huge impact. I knew it. I knew it. But the thing is, life is so interesting because if I was just a regular guy given opportunity, didn't know anything about the darkness in this world, the there's just the deception and the lies, and go through that journey of, going down a dark path and realizing that, hey, this isn't for me. I want to do good. I had that contrast, you see. I got that contrast of knowing what evil is, what darkness is, what being alone is, what being depressed is, and what wanting to kill yourself is, to just appreciating life and being grateful for the opportunities that I have, and just loving myself unconditionally, regardless of my past and regardless of how people treated me when I was young, and the lack of love that I didn't have. I don't think about those things as much anymore because I'm looking forward, right? I am looking forward, and I am creating my future. I am manifesting my vision for myself, my future, my family, my company, my impact I'm gonna have on my community and the world. Like, that's what I'm thinking about. And so you have to do the same thing, is to realize, like, hey man, like, I'm not gonna be great if I'm watching pornography all the time. Your relationships with your girlfriend, your wife, your spouse isn't gonna be great if you're masturbating and watching pornography all the time. I tell you now, the sex that I have is far more superior to any pornography I've ever watched. Like, I'm being so serious, and not to get too graphic, but I mean, I don't, like, yeah, there are, like, my girlfriend's a very attractive young lady, and I want it all the time, right? However, I refrain from it. I practice semen retention now. And I know about a weekend, if I haven't busted, I'm on fire. Like, I am killing it. I am driven. I am motivated. I'm hungry for success. I'm hungry for a positive outcome. That is what semen retention will do. Your dreams will get more vivid. You'll get a deeper intuition. You'll get downloads, man. I'm trying to tell you, like, reframing is so powerful. And then when you do get it, it is so good. It is wonderful. Like, the release is amazing. The energy that you have, like, I got stuck on pornography because I would see the reaction that these women are having. I would listen to them moaning, and it would turn me on. But the other part of it was, it made me insecure about myself, because when I was very young, some girl in my chorus class told me that I had smaller hands and that I had a small dick. And so for a long time, that's the story that I told myself. And I was in middle school, so when I put a condom on, it was fucking too big. So of course that validated what she said to me. And then for the longest time, I carried that story about having a small dick. But the crazy thing is no woman has ever told me that. And a matter of fact, a lot of women tell me, hey, I never orgasmed like that. But regardless of how many women told me about how great I performed in bed, it didn't, I mean, yeah, it might have boosted my ego temporarily, but that story that I was told when I was, 13 years old, that I continued to tell myself for a decade and a half, almost 2 decades, like, it was not good. And so In contrast, like I'm way more confident. The sex is so much better. My relationship is so much better. My dreams are vivid, and I'm on fire. You know, um, so that's a benefit, man. And like I said, you gotta start with making a decision and keeping count, keeping stock. Like set a small goal. Like my first goal was to not masturbate for a day. Right? Okay, that's a milestone. I'm not gonna masturbate for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. My longest streak was almost a year. Don't get me wrong, like I fold every once in a while, but I'm on a streak right now of not drinking in 10 days, not smoking weed in about 2, 3 weeks. I've been working out every day, almost every day since last week. And so I'm starting to get back on track. And, it's just an amazing thing once you're able to let go of the things that are holding you back. I want to keep this video short. I'm getting close to 20 minutes here, but I just want to end this by saying you can do it. I'm trying to tell you, you can do anything you put your mind to, anything. It is possible. Just have to believe it. You have to have so much conviction that anything is possible. You have to believe in yourself. Even if no one has ever believed in you in your life, make a choice to believe in you. Because at the end of the day, if you don't believe in you, who will? If you don't love yourself, who will? You gotta stop looking for external validation. It's gotta start with you and making a decision that you are ready to level the fuck up and be who you are meant to be. Be who you are meant to be, who you're destined to be, who you were born to be. Before society and social media and people start dumping shit in your brain, and then you start telling yourself stories that weren't true. Start thinking about the lies that you're telling yourself every day about yourself and rewrite those lies. For real, do this exercise. Get several sheets of paper and pencil. Write down every single lie you tell yourself. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty. My dick is little. My dick isn't big enough. I'm fat. I'm ugly. I'm a slow learner. Think about all the things that you tell yourself about yourself. Think about all the things you tell yourself about the world, about money. What are your beliefs about money? Oh, money's hard to make. You got to work hard to make money. There's not enough money out there. You got to be smart to make money. You have to, whatever your ideas are about money is evil. Write all this down in pencil. Okay, it's gonna suck. It might be painful, especially when you're talking about the parts about yourself. And then write down the lies that people have told you. I've been a victim of being bullied. I moved here from Belize, a third world country. I had an accent when I spoke. I even, when I was in middle school, like I was in some of the classes with some of the slow kids. Like the girl, I don't mean to make fun of people, but this girl was literally eating her dandruff. Like she'd pick it off her head and eat it. And, like I was in those classes, man. Like, and I look back at it and it's funny, but I look back at it and also, my mom told me that, like, if I didn't become a better learner, I was going to get held back, or I was going to be put in special classes and stuff. And like, she was a young mother. She didn't know better not to tell me that. Like, anyways, before I get off on a tangent, think about the things that people told you. Like, you need several pieces of paper, right? And leave a space in between each of those bullet points, about 2 or 3 lines. Leave about 3 lines. And then go back and rewrite that lie. Someone told you that you were ugly, write I am beautiful. If somebody told you you were stupid, write I am a genius. Write that in red ink. right? And then the day after, read the lie, and then read the truth, the rewritten truth. Read the lie, read the rewritten truth. And then the following day after that, just erase the lie. And then for 3 days, every day, 3 times a day, read what you wrote in that red ink. Rewire your subconscious, rewire your brain. You even rewire your DNA when you reaffirm these things to yourself. So give it a try.